What's up? It's your typical autistic metalhead here. I came up with the idea for this video yesterday, actually, when I was talking to a friend on the phone. We were discussing some important metal albums to us, like gateway albums, and it originally started with 3 albums for me, but then my friend ended up saying a few others that was influenced with him, and I was like, oh yeah, those were like really big for me too. It's like we had kind of talked about that before, how some of those albums were kind of important to us, and those artists in particular. So I came up with a list of 6 now, and I'm really happy with like what I've come up with. And these 6 albums are probably like the most like important in like regards of like changing my life. Like I'd say like when like metal music became become my favorite genre of all time. It's been the most important genre, the one that's intrigued me the most in my entire life. And these albums were the gateways for me. They like got me into heavier stuff, introduced me to things, and were just kind of game changers for me. And I've got them in the order that kind of like I discovered them, and like kind of go in like a progression of like when I got into these albums and why they were important to me. But yeah, it seemed like a fun video. It's another list today, of course. I love my lists. But let's jump right in with the first album here. Turn my thing to the side. And the first one we'll talk about, I've talked about so many times already, and we'll continue to keep talking about it into the future because it is so important to me. It's the first album that ever introduced me to metal music when I was a kid. And that is Metallica and Justice for All. I remember my dad showing me this as a kid. She used to play like several songs off of it all the time, and it just like captivated me. I was like, I really like this. I really like the sound of this. It's so cool. It's so interesting to me, and it introduced me to what would later become my biggest fascination in my life, my biggest thing to try to find more information about and dig deep into, find more bands, find everything that's going on with it, and love everything about it. And it just introduced me to metal music, and I still absolutely love this album so much. I still go back to it quite often, and I just still thoroughly love it all the way through. I didn't even really listen to the whole thing as much as a kid. I mean, I heard like the songs I remember listening to the most as a kid are Blackened, One, The Shortest Straw, and Harvester of Sorrow, and Frayed Ends of Sanity. Those are like the ones I've probably heard the most off of this album when I was a kid. But as I've gone into adulthood, to just have listened to every song on here, obviously multiple times, so many times, and I just love this album. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Will always be a special album to me. It will always just bring that nostalgia factor, but also just like reminds me of why I love metal music and why I fell in love with metal music to begin with. It will always be right here for me, and it'll just always be special. It's such an amazing album, and that was it. That was what did it for me. It's what started it all. And next, and as I said before, Metallica was like kind of like early, like middle of elementary school, probably like 2nd or 3rd grade, I think, is really when my dad first started showing me stuff like that. Next, this is like later elementary school, like 5th grade, I'd say it was probably when I got into this. And that's System of a Down with Toxicity, the 2nd full-length album. I looked at it as their magnum opus, even though all their albums are fucking great. It's kind of hard to pick one, but just a classic, just a fucking classic. And I remember I had some friends at school, this one friend in particular, who introduced me to this band, and got me really intrigued by it. And a big thing that intrigued me by it was there was a lot of cussing in it and stuff, and my dad was like really weird about like cussing and profanity and shit when I was a kid, so it was like a big deal for me to like try to listen to stuff that actually had profanity, even though my dad, like if I wanted to get stuff myself, like he like would try to find the clean versions of everything. Can't have any F words going into my son's ears, like that filth. But my friend had an MP3 player, like my really good friend as a kid, who's like was connected to this other friends that we were like the skater doobies at school and stuff, and we got he got some of the songs onto his like his MP3 player at the time, like this little like small like USB kind of like MP3 player, and so this was probably like 2006 or something, 2007ish. I think it was probably 2006, like late 2006. And I remember like hearing songs off of, I remember the song in particular, it's not on this album, but on the one after this one called Chicken Stew, and I remember like very intrigued by that, and then I just like really just fell in love with them, and this album just like stands out to me, like it always like brings that feel, that like really just brings that feel to me that I just like think of when I think of System of a Down, and just like the way it makes me feel. The song Prison Song, when it comes in, man, just like my wife and I were like singing that shit the other day when we were going walking, and just like really memorable, and they're just such a unique band, and they introduced me more to just like heavier sounds. They introduced me to the like growling, like more like intense, like somewhat intenser vocals, but of course it mixed it in with the more like accessible and like clean vocals, and so it was like more accessible to me. But that's what was like my first introduction to like more intense vocals, and it was just like that was just like another gateway for me to like get into like stuff that was heavier and see something different, and get a little bit further into it, like ease myself more into like stuff that would end up getting harder later on. So System of a Down, Toxicity, man, every time I see this cover, like, I'm just like, oh my fucking god. I used to play Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, and it was like took place in like Hollywood, and there was like the Hollywood sign and stuff that you could like skate out of and stuff, and that was like like that mixed, like I was around this album at the same time, so I was like so like fascinated by like the Hollywood sign and shit too, and it was just like, it's just like a crazy thing that like clicks in my head and just brings me back. But System of a Down, Toxicity, fucking awesome, super important. Next, this is a little bit later, probably around the same time as System of a Down, but Slipknot, self-titled album, man. I didn't really listen to it a ton like at that time. It was like, this was like a big one for like when I got back into metal music, like later, like after like right at the end of high school until like that time. So I like kind of got out of it. I talked about that in my like falling in love with metal kind of video I made about that recently. And but man, this is just like another step up, and like the imagery on here, I was like so fascinated by like the members and like them wearing the masks and stuff. I always loved shit like that. It looked like creepy, and that was like another thing that like went along with metal music so well with me, is I really loved like creepy, like scary shit as a kid, and this was like to me at the time, it was like taking it up another notch. I was like, oh man, this is like actually kind of freaky looking. And I remember like looking into the booklet and stuff when I got this at like Best Buy. My like mom bought it for me at Best Buy or something, and it was a big deal too because it has the parental advisory on it. So my mom would like sneak the shit for me, and my dad wouldn't know about it, or just like well, what can I do now? But Slipknot, fucking awesome band. They're very popular, of course. All the bands I've talked about so far are very popular metal bands, but how else are you going to get into the shit? I mean, that's just how I ended up getting introduced to it. That's how a lot of people get introduced to it. You find like the heavier shit and the more underground shit later down the line. It's a progression. Some people might get into the intense shit first, I don't know, but I feel like it's more of a thing to get into the more stuff that you like actually accessible and see out in the world to an extent. But this album was fucking awesome to me, and just like it was like kind of a little too heavy at the time for me, like when I first found it and stuff, but I still loved the art on it and stuff. I was very intrigued by it, and like the first the sample at the beginning, where it's just like, the whole thing I think it's sick, the whole thing I think it's sick, and like that, and then it just like goes into the next song like that's like fucking sick, and I fucking love that shit still. It's like a sick transition, and just like has that like creepy sound at the beginning, and then it goes into that heavy shit. I'm just like, when I was a kid, I was like, whoa, like, this is so, it's so cool. And just like the imagery that went along with it, like that shit was like fucking awesome to me, and like so intriguing to me. But I was also like freaked out, like I was a little bitch boy, a little scared Christian boy as a kid. And like, but man, then Slipknot was just like, so they're so influenced by death metal, so this is like kind of like my first like immersion into like being more exposed to like what I would later fall in love with, like death metal, and just like the, obviously it's like it's mixed in with new metal tremendously, but like it's more of a new metal sound, like you considered a new metal band, but they have a very intense death metal influence to them. I actually read about that in a book recently, and the book called Choosing Death I did a review of, and they talked about one of the members of the Slipknot, which is like super into death metal, and like has a immolation tattoo from their Dawn of Possession album, and so that was like a huge thing, and you can definitely hear it, like it's fucking heavy, man. And then just like the thing that like makes it more like accessible, of course, and is Corey's vocals are more like clean and just like singy shit, and it just made it more accessible and just like the new metal feel to it. But it's just still fucking awesome to me, and just it really stands out to me. It's like, this shit is fucking heavy. I fucking love it. It's fucking awesome. I still love listening to this. It's a great album, and the influence cannot be denied. Next, when I got into this, these were all like, these last three were kind of like in around the same time, so it was kind of like a time of me getting like a little bit of a foundation for me before I like ended up getting out of metal for a good little while, not listening to it much, because my self-esteem went through the fucking floor, and just couldn't express myself that way. I was too fucking scared about it. But talked about that before in another video as well. But next one I'm talking is Devil Wears Prada, Plagues, metalcore band, Christian metalcore band. Like I said, I was a little church boy when I was a kid, and there's a guy that like went to my church, but like I think I was going pretty consistently at that time with like my family, like kind of being dragged going there and shit, and like I was too scared to like not believe in the shit at that time, like just the fear mongering and stuff when I was a kid. But so like when the guy told me, like at school I used to hang out with him a lot, and he like told me this, and it's like, oh, I can listen to this, it's like heavier, but it's like Christian, like it's fine to listen to, it's like not bad. And that's kind of like what was going through my like mindset. But this album is still like very like important to me, and it's like it's pretty fucking heavy, man. Like it's like it showed me more of those intense vocals once again, like they like the like kind of screamy, like screeching kind of vocals, and just like the kind of more of the death metal instrumentation that was like the melodic death metal that influenced metalcore so much around this time especially. And I just still really like this album. It has like a darkness to it that I really fucking like, and then it like mixes those like poppy kind of vocal sounds, echoey vocals and stuff. And but yeah, it was just like like this was just something like heavier for me to like get into. It was like taking it up another notch for me, in a certain regard, and it just feels like it's still very important for me in that time. And then this was like kind of like I got into this, and I was getting into like metalcore and shit, and then like I just like cut it off because I was like scared, like the people I was around weren't fucking into it for the most part, and like thought it was fucking weird, and I was like fuck fine, like, and I just like masked and like hid that part of me for a good while throughout like most of high school. So I got like this like 6th grade, and then like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, 11th grade, like super low self-esteem, didn't even want to look into it that much, because I just like was just, I don't know, no, of course I was so fucking miserable, I was hiding that part of me. But this album is fucking awesome. I really fucking like it still, and was just really big, important to me, and I've realized that especially in recent years. Next, we're getting into like the real deal stuff that like really this was just like the hugest turning point for me, like the most important time, most important discoveries I've ever had, and will always be looked at as just like so fucking important to me. The first one, probably my favorite metal album of all time. It's hard, it's like comparable to Metallica's And Justice for All, with just like the importance and just the amount of enjoyability I get from it. I think this one definitely probably takes it. And I've talked about this one multiple times on my channel before too, but Death, Symbolic, man, when I found this album, it was game over. I just fell absolutely head over heels in love. Just fucking went down a rabbit hole, finding all these fucking bands, finding extreme metal. I was like, wow, like I've been missing out for so fucking long. Like, how did I not find this shit before? I was always like kind of like hesitant about finding shit like this. And man, it was like I was waiting for the time. I was waiting for the time for me to be ready for it, I guess. And then it's just like I found this album, man, and saw this album artwork, and I was so intrigued by it. And then just like the fucking music, man, like the more intense vocal style, just like the progressive death metal sound, like just like, oh man, it's what did it for me, man. I just fucking loved this shit. I fell in love with it so much. I've listened to it so many goddamn times. I probably, at this point, it's comparable to the amount of times I've listened to Metallica and Justice for All, probably, if not more so than that at this point. And just fucking love this album to fucking pieces. And it's what got me into death metal. It's what got me to search into extreme metal and sent me down that hole to find just like my favorite music of all time. The stuff that makes me feel so good, makes me feel confident, makes me feel good about myself. Something I just love so much. Could just like talk about all fucking day long. Could just keep searching for new bands all day fucking long, finding new shit, listening to it, staring at the album artwork, just finding out what went on with the band and shit, finding out information. Like, I just so fucking obsessed, man, so obsessed. And that's what did it for me, and will always be so fucking important to me. And I'll just always cherish this album deeply in my heart, and it was just fucking amazing. And the one that goes along with that took it was around the same time. Another one I've talked about all of these on my channel, of course, before, but it's a different context this time, I guess, to an extent. Making a video just kind of about that. And yeah, I guess I'll just introduce it. I don't know what else to say before I introduce it, but take it out of here. And it's Burzum with Filosofem. This is the one that introduced me to black metal. I still just love this fucking album. Still, like, some stuff can just like not really compare to this. Like, I've never found anything that sounds exactly like this. It still just fucking pulls me in, man. Like, when I first found this shit, oh my god, it was like right around that time that I found the Death album, like a little bit after, and me just like being in such like a low place, and hearing those, like, because like I said in the past, I've always loved like creepy shit, like Halloween shit, and I got into this like right around like October, like end of September, October. It was perfect. Going for walks in the woods, hearing the fucking demonic sounding screeching vocals, I was like, whoa, I didn't know shit like this existed. And the artwork, man, like fucking amazing. And then just like the way the fucking guitar tone, man, and just like the like atmospheric sound it brings to it, and just like the cymbals perfectly fucking like timed in the right places, and the drums just fucking going fucking crazy, just like the whole, just like the ambient textures and atmosphere, and just like, oh my god, man, like it was like the perfect fucking package for me. And I just like it just intrigued the fuck out of me, and I just listened to it multiple times. I would just all the fucking time, like every day. I was just like, I need to listen to this. I'd go out on my fucking walk in the evening through the woods and listen to this shit. And I just like remember like it always matching up, like the certain song would be like when I would turn this corner, I would go on like the same walk all the time. I would turn this corner, I knew this was about to hit, and then just like seeing if it was like if I was walking slower one day or something, because like this hit like a little bit sooner or a little bit later. And I just fucking love this shit, man. It's such a fucking important album to me, and I will always love this so much. And just like oh my god, man, it's just like the way, just like looking at the artwork makes me feel, it's just insane. And it will always just be so fucking important. It's just like was such a big gateway into finding some of my favorite shit of all time, and I just couldn't be more like, I fucking love it, man. So important to me. But yeah, that's my list. That's my 6 metal albums that changed my life-changing metal albums, and just have had the biggest effect on me, the biggest to get me into my favorite shit ever. And I just will always be so grateful for these albums, and that I found them, and at the times that I found them, and they will just always be special to me, no matter what. And that's all I really got to say, especially like the last 2. Like my original list had started was just Metallica, Death, and Burzum, but I feel like I had to throw this other one in there too for like the progression, and like me getting into like stuff that like would later on like get me into harder shit. But if I had to pick 3 from the list, it would be Metallica, Death, and Burzum, being insanely important and just game-changing as fuck for me, and just the ones that will always stand the test of time. Will always be the ones I go back to more than anything, and my favorite albums of all time. So hope you guys like this video. Let me know down in the comments what your like top 6, top 5, top 3 albums that were gateways for you. I'd love to hear about that. I love how to see how other people got into this shit too. It's like so important. It's so fucking awesome, and I just love connecting with you guys too. I love seeing other people's stories of getting into shit like this, and just us coming together over metal music is fucking amazing. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys later.